Thank you,
Yes, sir.
everyone. Am I audible, everyone? Loud and clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Our subject is basically what? As I said,
Cloud.
yes. So we want to go for Python. Right now, we are going for what? A kind of Python programming. So now, we need to understand the Python programming here. And as I said, some software application makes life easy for communication. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, right? Then we have to understand something about this topic. Basically, to understand your Python, what are softwares, how the software develops, what are the programming language, history of your Python, comparing with different programming language, and the fresher and experienced programmers here, what is full stack and what is Python normal, what is SDLC, secret of programming language to learn easy way, and writing some small program. So here how software app develops. As I said, how the software app develop. You required what? You got a project here. You got a project. A Canadian client has given a project to develop an application called Virtual Doctor, and the project manager got this kind of received this kind of requirement, and they need to form a kind of team, development team, a testing team, and an operation team who operate the software and brings in a market, and who make sure the performance, security, right, and accessibility, availability should be good for the companies, customers. So the first phase will be what? Development phase, internal. But the company need to decide whether they need to have Python programming, they need to go for Java, or they need to go for .NET. The company is going to decide how we are going to go. So now, depending on the business logic of the customer, what they have given, and they have said that the software to be what? Faster and secure and simple. That means the maintenance should be simple, security should be there, faster, the performance should be good, and development should be very fast. That means they want the launch, they want to have what? Quick in a market. So launch should be in a quick market. They have given challenge that you have to do faster. So compared to this Java, .NET and Java, most of the companies preferring Python to do faster. The software development, the productivity of the software industry can grow with the help of Python programming language. You can say development productivity. Development productivity. The development productivity can be better with a Python compared to Java and .NET because Python is faster, secure, and easy to do. Example, if you go for some kind of a login program and you want to go for login module, if it is taking 1 day or it can be 8 hours to do design and program it. But Python can do that 8 hours can be in 1 hour or 2 hours. So it's too fast. That means the code, number of lines of the code will be very short in Python compared to Java and .NET. So Python is more preferable for making an development productivity should be more grow. So a lot of people do Python because of what? Productivity of the program or software can be more, and it's going to be cost efficient. It's going to be what? You can say more ROI. You know ROI? Return on investment. It can increase ROI of the company because it's developing very fast. If Java needs a kind of small program to write 100 lines, it can be done in 10 lines in Python. So that's a secret of like Python, you can say. And it's very simple language. It is using some human understandable easily kind of phrases, the keywords. But in Java, keywords are very difficult to remember. But Python is a very simple keyword. They use simple English language also. That's why people love Python. Security, performance. Most of the people are using what is not only software development. I said automation, security, data analytics, AI. They're using all side Python. So now we got understanding about how the software develop, and we have to select which programming language on the base of performance, security, and software development productivity faster. It's very important. So the testing, again, we need to have a testing. Without testing, the software should not be released in the market. So after development team, testing will come and they'll work with the Selenium software. And the software development can be Java or Python, or they can use .NET. But Selenium is common for the testing tools, automation testing. They'll perform what kind of testing? They'll perform what? Functional testing, functional tests, and performance tests, security test, performance test, security test, functional test. So they'll perform all these tests on the application, whether it's working properly or not. If something goes good, then it will move for what? Production. You can call this unit where the softwares are running and live to the market. Live apps. Okay, app will be live here under the production environment. You have a development environment, testing environment, and production environment. Fine. Any question from here? Anyone want to ask a question here? Anyone, please?
Sir, Selenium.
No, sir.
Selenium. Go ahead.
I didn't understood the point.
Selenium is a kind of software tool which used by software testing team. Okay. And development team use what? Python, Java, .NET. This is programming language. For testing, most of the common software, as I said, a lot of softwares are there for testing, but I have given only Selenium because it's a kind of automation testing, right? So that's basically a software. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Sir, what kind of tools used by operation team then?
Operation team is going to be used what? They are going to go for cloud technology. Okay. They need security devices. They need monitoring tools. They need some deployment tools. They need to have good idea about on what? Security, monitoring, and cloud technology. That is operating system. They need OS very, very well. So even they need to have what? Troubleshooting. They need to maintain that complete servers and application to be run without any kind of downtime 24/7. Security should be good, and monitoring should be always available for the servers and application. If something goes wrong, they need to report and they need to patch up very quickly with the team. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now we got idea that business application software, WhatsApp, Facebook, Google, YouTube, are developed by programming other software called what? Programming language. That means the software developed, the business application developed are developed by programming language. What is programming language? It's also software, right? It's also software. So now basically the software which used to develop another software is called programming. Understand this point. Make a paper and pen ready with that. What is programming language? You say it's a kind of software. It's a kind of software which help to build another software. That is called programming language. The programming language is not one or two only in Python. There are a lot of softwares: Go language, Ruby, .NET, PHP, Python, Java. So as I said, the Python is growing well, and in the market, Python taking a good place in the market for various reasons. We'll see that reasons also. Do you know which language easier and faster? Python. Why? We'll see that. The Python which is faster, easier than Java and other programming language. You can check this. Now, interpreter and compiler. Whenever you talk about programming language and you write some code, all right, you write in a program in a kind of your notepad. Example, I have a notepad plus plus here. If I open it, you see some programming language here. I have a kind of HTML here, HTML programming. I have a YAML programming here. It's a YAML programming language. It's a script for HTML and Java and something here. And if I open, you can say PyCharm. PyCharm is an IDE tool. PyCharm is a what? IDE tool. So favorite people like here, the developer do not go for Notepad plus plus or something. They go for what? IDE tool. Make a note. IDE tool is a favorite tool for programmers because it makes easy for syntax errors, troubleshooting, debugging, compiling. Everything can be done easily. And organizing multiple folders and files, it can be easy here compared to directly Notepad or something, WordPad. So now I can show you something here.
Sir,
Yes.
can you please repeat that point? IDE to his favorite tool.
Acha, IDE, Integrated Development Environment. IDE tools are the favorite tools for the developers, programmers, which help them to write program very fast, syntax errors, guidelines, and debugging. A lot of things are good features for the programmer. That's why the IDE tool used by programmers. So PyCharm is the IDE tool for Python. You have another tool also, Visual Studio Code. So you have a lot of IDE tools are there which use for .NET, Java, Python, different IDE tool for different programming language. But PyCharm is specific to Python. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate that you're concentrating attention. Your name?
Rishita, sir.
Roshita. Thank you, Roshita. Right. You're appreciated that because you're in attention and you are asking a lot of questions and you're making a point. I hope everyone is doing the points, right? What is IDE? Why programmer needed? And what is programming language? Definition of programming language. A software which help you to develop other software. That software is called what? Programming language. C, C++, Java, .NET, PHP, Go language, Ruby language. You have various languages are there. But I know 7 to 8 languages names. But there are a lot of thousands of languages are there. But among these, Python is shining. Python is growing. Why reason? We'll give a futures also, definitely. You see the programming, I shown something, a programming called HTML and CSS just now. And I have shown something in a PyCharm. I have some program called Python programs, a payment gateways or something kind of ATM program, where I have just done something about what? A kind of small program of Python. So this is a Python programming code where I'm showing you. So if you want to run, you can run and execute, you can test it. So now this is a IDE tool. So whenever you run a program, when you write a program into Notepad or IDE tool, that code to be compiled or interpret, that means the code is a human understandable language. They need to go for what? It need to compile. It need to go for what? It need to compile, or you can say interpret. That means one language to the language. Your hardware cannot understand your high level language, English, Telugu, Hindi, alright, Urdu or Arabic language, Chinese, Japanese language. So user use because of their easiness, understandable. But when you execute it, when you run the program, it need to execute it by computing device that is called CPU. CPU cannot understand that. So in between our interface, the programming interface and your hardware, there will be a core program called compiler, interpreter, which interpret one language to the language. So let's see here, the Python is an interpreter or compiler. And what do you mean by interpreter and compiler? You need to have a proper definition for that. If you see here, every programming language written in Word, whenever you use .NET or PHP or Python or you use HTML, C, C++, you're going to go forward high level language. And high level language is for understanding or to write in a proper way by the user, which interact with the user. But computer device required and machine language. So machine language will be converted when the program is executed. This process of translation from high level language to machine language or vice versa called as what? Interpreting or compiler. But the translation process are different. Interpreter and compiler are basically kind of same, but the process of doing is different. When you run it, need to be converted in machine language, and machine language understand by the CPU, and your high level language understand by humans. What is compiler interpreter with example? No object code is generated. That means whenever you run a code in Java, it will be compiled. It will be like combining all the code into one object, and then it's going to go for what? Interpreting. That means compiling. Generate object code which further required linking, hence requires more memory. When I have a 200 lines, and if I run it, 200 lines is going to be bunched into one object and put it into RAM, definitely is going to eat more RAM for me, and it takes time. So that's why the Python is doing what? No object code is generated. That means it's not generated, it's not compiling, line by line is going to what? Interpret. Here, hence are memory efficient. That means your Python is more memory efficient than other, like C++, Java. These are basically called compiler programming language. But Python, Ruby and languages, they are basically interpreters. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Interpreter does not compile, does not make an object all together and putting into memory is take a lot of RAM and performance will be decreasing. So what exactly you need here? So memory efficient is what? Python. Ruby, that's memory efficient. The work they do is different. As I said, compiling and interpreting basically is a converting high level language to low language to high level language. But how they do? Python go for step by step, line by line compiling. But your Java and C++ makes completely bundle of the code, number of lines, and making an object, then do what? Compile. That's the difference between compiler and interpreter. You see here, the diagram, I have given a simple diagram. The number one is what? Your high level language. You have written some program in IDE tool or notepad. You have written this program, Python or Java or .NET or something. So when you execute it, it will go for what? Second, it will hold into the RAM, memory. RAM. So whenever I execute this code, and it will hold into what? Programming RAM. So now again the third step will be what? Converting process. Before sending the CPU, it will convert. Sorry. So it needs what? Conversion. So before going to the CPU, you can see that all the code is stored into temporary into RAM memory. Then the compiler, that means your compiler interpreter, that means your Python will take the code and will interpret the code line by line, interpret process, and then convert into machine language, and it forward to what? CPU, central processing unit. So the computing done here, once done completely, so again it go forward, reverse, vice versa. Machine language need to be converted to what?
Python
Again,
language.
yes, your high level language. Again this high level language will be put into memory, then memory will be shown into what? To your user display screen. That means you see the result. Example, you have given 2 plus 2 to the program, and to find out some kind of calculation, the answer will be given by the computing device and converted again machine language to high level language, and then you can see your screen. If you save it, so it will go to your database, right? If you want to save anything like here, whatever the output of the program, so mostly programming language use what? To store something, they use database software. Database is what? MySQL. You can see that. DB, database. So Oracle, MySQL, Microsoft SQL, these all are basically database program which used by every application to store all the business data or any kind of business logic will be stored into this. Any question here, please?
No, sir.
So before programming language, you should understand this process, how interprets works, how compiling process, what is programmer, why a programmer needed in a company, how the project comes, who is going to handle it, what is development team, what is testing team, what is operation team, where exactly, why we need this kind of team, and how exactly they do, and what is the process. We need to understand what is Selenium software, what is like your runtime programming language. These are the terminology, technical terminology, where you can grow and you can understand well about any books, or if you're reading any study material, definitely you can understand very well.
Sir,
Yes.
come again, please explain this diagram.
Which one?
This
Again?
diagram, sir, how it works.
Again.
Again, sir,
Sure.
network problems, sir, some issues is there, sir. So please explain it again.
Again. Just a So now here, your name please.
Mamata, sir.
Mamata, yeah. Mamata, thank you. I appreciate and encourage that you are very sincere to your subject. When you write something code, as I said, Notepad or something like IDE tools, PyCharm, or you say like Visual Studio Code or any kind of IDE tool, Java, Python, whatever it may be. You write the code here and you run the code. When you run the code will sit in a where? Memory, RAM. So the memory hold that code before go to CPU. Then your machine, that means your interpreter or compiler will do what? Compile this code or interpret the code, and then convert to machine language and passes to what? CPU. The CPU does a kind of computing according to requests by the programmer. So when the computing done, then you'll find what? It will send to again your compiler and print, like your interpreter will hold it again back, and then it will convert again to the machine language, to high level language, so the user can understand that answer, or else they'll see 011 something. So they need to be converted in a human understandable language. So it need to be converted again, vice versa. Again it will put into memory. Then from the memory it goes to where? Your screen. The user can see the result, whatever the calculation you have given to program, like computer, the programmer, a programming language. Again that's going to be result on your screen. If you want to save it, the most programming language will use a kind of database program. MySQL, Oracle, Microsoft SQL, MariaDB, Aurora, a lot of programming database softwares are in the market. And one of the software in our database is called Amazon offer is DynamoDB, Aurora. Are you making points?
It's
Database what? Aurora,
Yeah.
kind of
it's
DynamoDB and Aurora. And Amazon is offering a kind of software development services also, a Cloud9. Cloud9 is basically a software development tool like a IDE tool, which can be done online. There is no need to have everything on your computer. Is it clear now, the process, how it works?
it's clear.
Thank you.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, is DynamoDB and Aurora software applications of an Amazon?
Yeah, database is a service of Amazon, database service.
Okay, sir.
Your name?
Rushita, sir.
Rashida, wonderful Rashida. I appreciate the questions. Basically, you learn when you question. You don't question, you just simply sit, or you don't confirm, you don't communicate to the trainer. Definitely, the trainer will not get energy, right? The trainer will not get idea that here they'll motivate it. So you have to question it. Whenever you have a simple question, also put it. No worries, right? Thank you, Rishi. Now the popular software in market, as you know that, is who's going to develop these softwares? You're using YouTube, you're going to use Twitter, or you're going to use Google, or you're going to go Pinterest, or you're going to go Twitter, or you can say WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, Flipkart, Meesho, like Myntra. You're using a lot of application. So who is developing this software? Who is developing this softwares? Hello.
Development team.
Software developers. Okay, software developers. So software developer, as you understood that software developer is developing, but coming in the market, it's not only software development. To come in a market, you need testing team and operation team. So to develop software, a company required at least 3 teams: software developers, testing, and operation team. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
So which application you use mostly, Roshita? For
Sir,
purchasing,
WhatsApp.
purchasing, online e-commerce. If you want to purchase anything, what software, what application you use? Roshita?
Sir, till now I didn't buy any application.
Okay, you use any food delivery system?
Yes, sir.
Applications? Which
Yes, sir.
application your favorite?
Zomato.
Why Zomato, not other kind of application?
Sir, it's a basic thing we will use mainly for food, sir.
Okay. Any grocery purchase local?
Sir, in Amazon.
Amazon. You purchase grocery from Amazon?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No, sir, for clothing, sir, for dresses, we'll use Amazon.
Okay, fine. And then again, if you want to purchase any kind of like these things, you want to purchase any kind of electronic gadgets. Is there any kind of specific applications which
No,
offers?
sir. No, sir, I'll buy in offline, sir. No online.
Okay. So now, why you prefer online, offline, electronic?
Sir, we'll check the quality of that. No, sir. When we buy now offline.
Any store give you a kind of like quality of the particular device to test it?
Sir, have bought my laptop in offline.
Okay, you tested and you have purchased.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
So now, food delivery apps, you can see that Zomato, Swiggy, or Uber Eats, and something, right? Pizza Hut. So you have KFC, and you have a lot of softwares, different softwares for different provisions, right? And if you want to go for programming, like if you want to go for jobs, so you can see that LinkedIn is going to be a top network and the recruiting site where you can get on more jobs and you can connect to the recruiters. So you can see that Jora is going to be a good, and Dr. Job, Angular job, that is basically only for a specific Angular. So you have different kind of softwares, right? That in application online, that is recruitment application, that's going to be a, we can say Naukri, now Indeed, Glassdoor, or you have a lot of kind of like here application online which provide the facility of what? Searching for a job, posting the job, right? Connect the peoples. So these all softwares developed by whom? Software developers. To become a software developer, what do you
By
need?
all 3
What do you
teams.
skill? What skill you require?
Programming languages like Python, Java,
Programming
.NET.
languages. Good. So programming language is the base of your software development. Now we talk about Python. As we said, Python is the best and faster, easiest to write, and we'll compare with the Java and C++ and all those things. What is the differences? Why people love the Python? And Python is not a new language, but it started in 1990s. 1990s they started, and they have given a name Python. Why they have given a Python name? Do you know about that? Why? It was a kind of BBC kind of serial, right? Basically, so they took from there because it was very famous and popular in a market, and they want that product should be similar to that. So they have given what a kind of name called Python, because the serial is basically on a Python. So that's why they have given a Python from there. And now here the version in 2021 up to here 3.10, 3.11, the Python version. But started with what? 0.90, that means 1.4 or something. But now we have to use latest version. We'll have a new updates, new interpreters, lot of things, speed, logic, modules, lot of things will be updated in your Python programming language. Always use latest version. Is it clear? Latest version is what? 3.10 or 3.11. So as I said, it's a 1990 officially, but initially they started with 1980s, first release. So Guido van Rossum is a kind of developer who initiated this kind of software programming language, but it's not only he developed this, but a lot of people initiated, and they did a lot of changes. But initiated by what? Guido van Rossum. Done?
Yes, sir.
You see that Python's Flying Circus? It's a kind of BBC, a kind of comedy show. So from there they have took the name, and they have started with this because of they want to catch up the people, right? They want to have a name which is catchy and they can understand well, and it should meet with what? It should be matched with what? A present current market, going with the kind of popular name in a market. So they have chosen this. So other programming languages, it's not only Python, Java, Go, .NET, Python, Ruby, PHP, open source languages. You have a paid software languages as well as open source. As Linux, we have studied Linux is what? Open source and free. Same Python also open source and free. PHP also open source and free. Ruby also open source and free. Microsoft .NET is not free. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So one of the reason again what? The faster, easiest way, and as well as what? Multiple purpose. It's not only for software development, automation, security, and then data analytics, AI. So all people are encouraging to have and kind of Python to be like a language you should have at least. So even that you can see that is open source and free. You can do more changes and you can have a free. That means you're not going to bother about licensing. So in market, definitely fresher will get a lot of difficulties initially to get a job. Experienced people will get easily job. So you have to always make sure that you're not going to attend one interview. You maybe attend what 10 or 12 interviews to get a job. It's not easy in a fresher. Any domain, it's not Python. So you have to have patience in that, and you have to grow your skills on demand. Market is demanding what? Whenever you do Python, don't think that you're like you can get a job. Understand the market, what they're asking, only Python, or beside that something other tools or any kind of programming language they require. You need to understand. If you know HTML, CSS and JavaScript with the Python, it's wonderful. It's going to be work into your what? Website development. So like here in this way, a lot of different kind of tools dependent on that Python. What market is demanding, you have to check on a job description of every job. You can get an idea. So don't go for depend on what only Python and saying that I'll get a job. No, you need to have some database idea also. If you know something about SQL and if you know about operating system, that's wonderful. Most combination learning. How do you do most combination learning? Python, SQL and cloud computing. Now the platform is cloud computing. So at least if you're a developer, if you're a tester, if you're a security guy, if you're a architect engineer, you need cloud computing domain. Then when you go for programming, definitely you should have idea about what? Database. That's the way the most common combination learning you have to do in a market. to achieve your goal and your job easily in a market. The ranking it shows from 2018. I have just taken a screenshot from there to get an idea about how which programming language is basically in the top right now. You see the Python language is going to take what market share 24.58 percentage. Java 32, JavaScript, and PHP, C plus C sharp or C++. These are different languages, but right now Python is booming in the market and catching a lot of people's eyes to have Python into their software industry. Now, Python full stack versus Python. When you say I'm learning Python, it's different. But when I say I'm learning Python full stack, that means whenever I say Python, I'm just learning entry-level programming logic. That means how to code with the program, how to write with the kind of coding with the Python, and how to understand the debugging and running and modules, and you can say functional built-in functions, and you can say about logic loops logic, that is control flow, how to define variables. These all things you're learning into what? Python basics. But when you say Python full stack, it's a kind of framework. It's a collection of Python plus frameworks, Django, Tyranno, Flask, Pyramid. A lot of frameworks are there to learn your Python as a full stack, to be professional developer. Alright? So when you talk about this programming, you should know about web server and the client and server. Whenever you write a program, one programming is going to be for front end, one coding part is going to be a back end, and here these are two kind of programming phases, front end and back end. When you see the pages in front of the user, that is interfaces, buttons or option, the registration forms, or you have some colors, videos and photos placed in a different size and shapes, that is called what? Interface. It's a front end which is developed by what? Static codes, basically HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Node.js can be used for what? A kind of what? UI, user interface. But the programming logic, the business logic, what to do after pressing the login button, after clicking on the payment button, after clicking on the upload button or something submit button, what the program should do, that all program language or concept or logic will be written on what? By using what? Backend programming language, Java, PHP, Python, .NET. These are going to be used in a backend as a business perspective language or business perspective logics. And database is a kind of backend to store, give back data using SQL structure query language. That means all application, when you see that applications here in the market, example, someone says Flipkart or Meesho. Flipkart, and you just see this kind of the first page, that is called home page or index page. So this, you can see the slides going on for advertisement and giving an options and menus here, top side, login options, carting, become a seller, search box. These all are basically business logic. If I type search, so business need to search entire database and get the particular result. Example, I want what? Spy gadgets. When I type spy gadgets, I'm seeing this kind of photos is getting only filtering that particular things. Because of what? It goes to application will check in a database and get back the data and show you the photos and the descriptions and the prescriptions, right? All this kind of you can say specification. You can see that spy gadgets here CP Plus is offering, or their views and their availability, stock, or what is the price and offers, and everything is here. You can see that. You can see now whenever you're seeing the particular page or buttons and these things are called user interface. So client, one who requests for the service, is called a client. That means a browser. I'm typing Flipkart, YouTube, Facebook. I'm a client. And if you use YouTube search and your client, server, a machine of software which serves service on demand request. You send search request to YouTube or something, server will give service pages or data depending on your filters. You can see the diagram here, the front end, back end, how it looks. In back end, you'll have two components, that is called your runtime applications, that's your PHP, Python, Node.js, ASP.NET and Java. And back end, you have a word, MongoDB or Oracle or SQL Server, MySQL, and you have kind of database. In the front end, you'll find user interfaces. Basically, only the user interfaces will be shown by HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So when you say full stack development, front end to back end, you are responsible. You have to understand all together. It's a three-tier architecture. Mostly softwares are developed into where? In a three architecture component. The first is going to be web, second is going to be app, third is going to be database. So one application runs in the three tier, and I have already explained into cloud VPC also. Do you remember that? Do you remember?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So the application can be mobile application, desktop application, web application, right? So desktop application means what? Which need to be installed on your computer, and you have to configure everything offline. Internet is not required. We can install on a computer. When you say web application, the software is installed and run somewhere else, and we access through an internet browser. That is going to be what? Web application. Mobile application, you install on your mobile and you use from the mobile application. So that is called what? Mobile application. Only runs on smartphones, WhatsApp, Uber, Rapido, Swiggy or XYZ. So if you want to download any application, what software you're using from your mobile? If you're Android?
Android.
Yeah. What application you use to download any software?
Play
Play
Store.
Store.
Sorry, Play Store, right? Play Store. And any like if you have any kind of Mac, Apple, iPhone. So depending on the Windows mobile or operating system, like basically iPhone, Mac based or Android based, having their kind of application to install and remove and update the softwares, right? Mobile applications. So you understand the mobile application difference, web application difference, and desktop applications. How software companies work now? I already said the market, you got a project, and how do you do that? You need to form a team, development, testing, and then operation team. How it's going to be access, you need to have a good idea from the client, what they require, business logic. Then it need to be form a team. Then you have to understand how much time, how much duration, what the cost, everything you have to calculate, and you have to give a feedback to the customer. Planning is very important. Designing is very important, draft designing before going for execution. Then implementation. Then you have to report. Reportings are very important. So these all things is going to be in a company, how software company works. Mostly we're getting project from where? From foreign countries, Canada, US, right, Germany. So we are getting projects and we are dependent on them. So if you want to understand easily the programming language, what is the secret? I suggest you to just note down all the keywords, the technical terminology of that particular Python. There's a keyword. What do you mean by keyword? Keyword. What do you mean by validate? What do you mean by debug? What do you mean by full flow control? Right? What do you mean by comment? What do you mean by loop? What do you mean by built-in function, modules? So you have to understand all the terminology. Then you can understand very well about the programming language easily. First, understand this kind of concept. Now, as I said, the differences between C++ Java. If you want to write only hello, if you want to write something, whenever I execute the program, it should show in a screen hello. So in a C language, you can see that I need to specify what include studio.h, initializing main void, then print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. C++ again 6 lines, 7 lines, and Java you have 8 lines. And you see that the keywords they are using Java is what? Class, hello world, public, static, void main. These are very difficult kind of thing, right? But here Python, you see that only one line, print hello world, that's it. No need to go for include or class or something defining. Directly go for Python in a single line. It's very faster and easy to write. Print, it's a simple print. You can understand the language also. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So it's a kind of introduction. We'll do again because it's a kind of online and a lot of people are listening and a lot of friends are missing like here. I don't want to miss these people, right? But they need to be regular. Any question for me now?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So thank you very much to attend. But tomorrow I'll ask
Excuse
some
me, sir.
questions on the base of that, right? You have to be ready.
Excuse me, sir.
Excuse?
Yes, Hina this side. Sir, actually, I want to confirm. Fine, sir. How are you, sir?
Please go ahead. What do you want?
Yes. Actually, I wanted to confirm about my attendance for this online class.
Attendance. You're confirmed.
Yes.
No issues. I'll take a screenshot. I'll
Okay,
confirm.
okay.
Okay, just
Okay, thank you, sir.
so I want like everyone is here, so I want to have kind of photo, so I can again take a snapshot. Can you just switch on your videos, please? So I got like new people here. Earlier I have taken another. Divya did first. Rushita, thank you. Alakia, Hina Kausar, Mamata, oh, Rasagna. How are you, Rasagna? Okay, next is gonna what? Umarani also there. I think all are resting mode. Radhika, how are you? If I do not see the face, that means attendance will
Good,
go.
sir.
If I don't see the face, the attendance will be marked as what? Absent. Manisha, Radhika, Mehak, Chindu. Radhika, you'll get absent.
Yeah, sir.
What do you say?
Sir, I'm actually out, sir.
Out going to be a good scenario. Landscape, good landscape, traffic, right? Cars,
Okay.
bikes. What do you say? Can I conclude this? Thank you. Close your videos.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Any question for me now?
No, sir.
Radhika, have you listened to the class?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Fine. Thank you. Do you have any question for me?
No, sir.
Thank you for attending all. Thanks for making an attention here because it shows that you're passionate and you love the subject and you want to be regular for the subject, right? So I appreciate that, and you even given a questions, right? You are asking a lot of questions, clarifying your thoughts. I appreciate. So thank you for now, and we'll continue tomorrow offline, right? Remember. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.